The NeuroDADverse podcast is produced by Squid Shack Studios.
Hey, I'm Ben.
And I'm Dan.
We're both fathers,
We're both married.
and we're both raising kids with diagnosed neurodiverse conditions.
Parenting is tough, and we're not saying it's harder for us, just different.
And sometimes that different can be hard to explain.
That's why we've created the NeuroDADverse, a weekly show where we share our wins, our challenges, and all the neurosparkly and neurospicy bits in between.
Our hope is to create a safe space for parents to share their own highs and lows of neurodiverse parenting. And just to remind you of three things.
You're doing great,
You are enough.
and you're definitely not alone.
So welcome to the NeuroDADverse. Hello.
Hey man, how are you?
I'm all right. I'm all right. Mustn't grumble. Must not grumble. Should we dive straight into wins and challenges?
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
I know because as we said, we've got a bit of a not as we said just before jumping on call, we've got a big topic to chat about that came up with one of our lists. So do you want to speed through? Do you want a win or a challenge? Mine are coupled together today. So
I've actually had a bit of a week where there's probably like three different things I could name as a win, but then one of them kind of also connects with the challenge as well. So
okay.
I will go for win first. Um, so coming to the end of the school year now, it's like next week or this coming week is the last full week before the summer. So hearing a little bit around Frankie's schooling, and they're basically saying that he's doing really well. And he got sent a certificate home this week. They don't get it all the time, but sometimes they get an achievement certificate, and the certificate said that Frankie is starting to do activities on his own without adult supervision and stuff. So essentially today, I think it was earlier in the week, when it was hot, he decided to just go over and start drawing, and they sent that drawing home for us. He did it completely on his own accord, in his own way. So he colours us in a hungry caterpillar picture.
Can I tell you about this?
No, tell me.
This is a tattoo. I think it's a bell or a train, but it says Ben underneath it because that's my name. One Christmas, probably after the first year of school, or that middle. No, not that first, not reception. Year one, I think. Oscar came up to me and went, "Name?" I went, "Ben." Later on, brought back a post-it note with this thing drawn on it and my name written, and I was like, "Well, that's going with me to the tattoo parlor." Because and that was some independent stuff which had been happening at school, I guess, but wasn't really
Amazing.
sure. So I've got plenty of room to do more drawings of tattoo drawings from the kids, and I've got a big folder upstairs and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I love
Amazing.
yeah, it's cool. Oh, amazing. I like it.
Yeah, I might share it as a post on social. But
Yeah,
yeah,
why not?
it's just the fact he did it. Yeah, it was just the fact that he's like, obviously, I mean, again, part of me now where his behaviour's changed a little bit at home. I'm like, I wonder if they're like, Frankie, you need to do this. And he was like, what can I do to get out of this? Let me go draw a picture. But that's just the cynic in me, I suppose. But yeah, it was really nice to hear that he's doing activities on his. They've said he's been getting better at it, but the fact he just went, I'm just going to go do some colouring now.
Yeah,
That's
good.
a win. That's a win. What about you?
Absolutely. Well, like I said, they were thrown together. So we had a packed weekend of like activities. Yesterday we were meeting some. We had some like household bits and bobs to do, and quite a lot of like garden chores.
Mhm.
Well, won't go into them. There's no point. But like it was a lot. So we were trying to work out how to fit that in. Essentially, like we need to get it done by Monday because someone's coming to pick up a skip, and we was like, well, most So I was a bit concerned that our biggest challenge was going to be that, and the garden chores still weren't done at 4:00 today when we got back because we were like out with some friends to have some lunch. We came back with a sort of running around, we're getting Mabel to where they needed to go, and just regular weekend stuff. Really nice to be busy. Really And then today was like an all-day football tournament in the really hot weather, and that ran over. And the challenge was this is going to really impact because we're going to get home. I've got to do this. Sundays always are like, can we calm and can we get through bath time, etc., etc. As it is, I'm sure, for many households. But it was the same thing. It was a massive win because Laura and I just smashed that within that 45 minutes. And it is a massive win for keep your shoes on. We got back and Laura just sighed. And I was like, yeah, I know, it's hard, isn't it? And when we were like, oh, if we don't get it done, I was like, well, we still have Monday evening. And then Laura was like, yeah, but this happens, this happens, this happens. I went, okay, all right, let's just keep our shoes on and see what happens. We both kept our shoes on. We both absolutely smashed it. And now I'm here. So I think it's more of maybe like an anxiety and a win, because I was like, we aren't going to do this. It's going to cause a lot of problems, a lot of distress. People are going to like fight. So yeah, just a nice little win and a nice little
No,
one
amazing.
for keeping your shoes on when you get in.
No, amazing. Yeah. And how did the tournament go?
Yeah, good. Yeah, good. It was too hot. It's not football season really, but there was an ice cream down, so it was good. They did not win this one. They lost on penalties in the semi-finals,
Oh
but
no.
they won 2 big trophies this year, so they should be proud. And yeah, good opportunity to see Mabel back in that mode when she comes on as a sub, like super hyper focus. She got pushed in the back while defending a goal, but as that happened, she shouted "Oi" in a way that like made me a little bit scared, and the kid backed off. So yeah, it's all good. It's all good. All good.
No,
Did you
brilliant.
do much today? Yeah.
We had some. We were babysitting for some of our like close family friends. So yeah, that was yesterday though. Frankie, so one of my other technical wins was Frankie went out for a day trip for the first, maybe second time without me or Amy being there, and he actually got into the experience.
Who you with, if you don't mind me asking?
The sort of like adopted family.
Okay.
I haven't actually asked them if they're okay with being called on the podcast, but yeah, like
Oh, okay.
they, they, we kind of like treat each
Aunts
other's
and
kids like our own sort of thing. Um,
uncles.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
yeah, adopted aunts and uncles.
Yeah.
And yeah, so they took him up there, drove him up to London in the car. He got into the experience. He couldn't do all the experience, but the
Cool.
fact that he went in. But yeah, but it was a bit when they actually got there. They're like, it was a lot of dark. It was going down. Frank's not cool with going downstairs if he doesn't know what's down there, sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah,
So he did really, really well. But it took a lot out of him. And then obviously me and Amy
yeah.
went out because we had an afternoon. So we
Yeah, I
we
was
went out
just
and had some ice cream and we went and watched the new Superman film.
cool.
So yeah, and then he went out like a light last night. Like eventually he just went, I'm done, and just went, and then he slept really well. And then today, then we had the people over. Probably in hindsight, it was just a busy weekend for lots of stuff, but he's done really well. So,
Okay.
um,
It's
but so
amazing.
that's the other big win of the week
Yeah,
was,
yeah.
he's gone out and
How
he's had a good time.
I mean, I know we want to get onto our big topic, but I can't not ask you, how
hmm
were you and Amy yesterday going for ice cream in the cinema? How was it?
Um, yeah, I, I mean, it's weird because we're just not used to. Especially during the day, like normally it will be we'll go out for an evening, so we'll probably go for dinner and go cinema.
Yeah,
Usually
yeah,
we go
yeah.
something, normally food and cinema. You get a few hours, you can do that in a few hours. We both like cinema. We both like
But
food.
do you know what I mean though? Like about thinking like
Yeah.
you're always phone twitching, aren't you?
So the thing about the cinema is obviously depending what screen we're in, like 75% of the screens you get no service. And before the film started, Amy did go, "Have you got any service here?" I went, "No," but and I just said to her,
Oh, it's so hard.
"I know," and I just said, "Look, the people that he's with are the people, they're on the list of people that I implicitly trust to look after him if we aren't about. So I wasn't anxious in that respect, but obviously we we had the information of they were coming home earlier because they didn't complete or Frankie didn't finish the whole experience. But they said he was happy and whatever. But yeah, I think that was probably playing a little bit on Amy's mind. And she does, sometimes she says, like, even when he's home with you, like, it's just that natural sort of paternal instinct of, I
Uh,
want to know he's okay.
and I think, and this will probably tie us nicely into our big topic for today. It's not necessarily is is my kid going to be okay? It's, are those adults going to respond in the way in which we respond to a deregulated behavior or a need or something? And is
100%.
and therefore, I'll tie it up nicely. Oh, this is good. I should be professional. Disagree. I shouldn't. We wanted to talk about routines a little bit as a big
Yes.
topic, just to talk about our experiences with it and just kind of chew over some ideas. The little link I've got on our document for this is routines. Who are they for? Um, I'll kick it off by saying that Laura and I did a course called The Incredible Years. I remember vividly someone talking about Christmas, and they said that around food, their kid just ate McDonald's. They would not eat anything else. And they're primary school age. They must have been primary school age at the time. And they were talking about how it's become part of their routine for Christmas. They've done it for 2 Christmases, they said. They'll go and buy 4 loads of whatever the McDonald's meal was, and they would keep it so they could warm it up and give it out to them for their Christmas lunch. And then the parent was saying, like, she was saying it in response to um, someone saying, "How do I get my kid to eat more things? They're only really rigid, and I want them to experience like family dinners." And this person was kind of saying, "Well, I go the extra mile for my kid. Like I buy all of these McDonald's and I like keep them in the fridge, and then we warm them up, blah 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 blah." And I remember the person running the workshop really expertly was kind of saying, the phrase that sums up all mine was like, "Well, no one else in the world is going to do that for your child."
Because they're your
Where,
child.
where, like, or just generally, for neurodiverse kids, no one's gonna go to those levels. So there's a big balance between going that extra mile, which of course you like, want to do to make sure your kid is eating,
Mm.
but also teaching them that that world isn't really made for them and their routine will be interrupted. And I think it's once you're within a routine, it can be very difficult to start to help that neurodiverse child to kind of step out of that. I know that because I'm within it myself at the moment. Like Oscar's diet is not very varied, but right now I know that it can be, but the routine really works for us because we
Mm.
know they will definitely eat. Do you know what I mean?
Is it nutrition? Are you happy that getting what they need? Or
Yes, yeah, they are. Like
good,
fruit is within it,
good.
and yeah, and we're a healthy 13.5-year-old, so I don't, from that perspective, not particular issue, but it
Mm-hmm.
is about having those definite routines in elsewhere in life. But it doesn't just have to be about food. I certainly think we've not been able to have it that much because I've usually been up and away to go teach, and mornings has normally been done through Laura, and Laura's sometimes been on night shifts. So we used to have this high five at the door scenario where I'd try to get them both up. Um, So we haven't been able to have this is what it's like Monday to Friday, this is what it's like the weekend. So it's always, the kids have always had to kind of go with lack of routine, I guess. And we very quickly kind of realized, like, if this routine isn't for like Laura and I, it's not for us, it's for them. We weren't able to kind of keep it that way. So there are certain things, but we quite a long while ago just realized not to necessarily beat ourselves up. And that's not to say it's wrong to give kids routines, but for us, certainly, it's starting, touch wood, to be a little bit easier to remove some of those things,
Amazing.
those processes, like leaving the house, for example, just perhaps because we weren't as strict to it before, but that doesn't mean it isn't the case. But I don't know, you have like pretty rigid stuff for Frankie, right?
Only my general feeling towards routine um is I kind of rebel against it. I am quite anti routine for anything sort of personal life. I like processes, but I don't necessarily like
Yeah.
routine. And I know some people be like, technically that's the same thing. But here's how I think. So being a filmmaker as a day job and a video producer, videographer, whatever people want to use the word of. So to do that job, there are processes that have to happen. You cannot start filming if you don't take your camera out, take the lens cap off,
Hmm.
turn it on, etc. So I follow processes and I like processes and I love refining processes and maximizing, efficiency from processes. When it comes to my personal life, I'm quite happy to just go with the flow like dead fish and just see how it goes and whatever else. So where Amy on the other side is probably got some of her sort of spectrum tendencies might be she's more maybe on sort of the OCD, ADHD sort of side of things. So she loves processes, but she also does like routine in the sense of everything has a place and
Okay.
things go there and wherever else, and that calms her. I'm like, that's cool. So sometimes we can clash when I might put something in the wrong place, whatever. It's not like big clash, but
No.
I know that's her thing, and I'm happy to live in the routine of how she likes to live. When it come to Frankie and we started going down the journey and pathway of the diagnosis, what I struggled with conceptually was all the medical professionals that we spoke to, or maybe not all, sorry, because that's a really big word. I don't like suitcase words.
Yeah, it's
Most
fine.
of the medical professionals
Yeah.
that we would speak to basically implied heavily that we think your son has got autism, and the best way for autistic people to survive in society is find a routine that they like and keep playing that track every day. And my brain just goes, no, I disagree. But I'll explain why I disagree. So routines are great, especially when it helps people get into things and helps them get through the day. However, my fundamental challenge with it is, as you said, um, I try to every now and again throw something different into the routine to try and test the stress response to change, because it's all well and good that people can completely function on a completely sort of automated day, but what happens when that routine breaks? Generally, you then start to get what most people consider sort of the main sort of spectrum things of meltdowns,
Yeah.
dysregulation,
Yeah.
explosive outbursts, anger, frustration, and at that point, the individual then is struggling to grasp what is happening. So with Frankie, and I used to say it to the doctors, and the doctors would look at me and they go, "How's it going? Are you in a routine?" I go, "We keep to a routine most of the time, but sometimes I try to change it." And they look at me and go, I need, hopefully, my goal is, I'm not doing it maliciously and I'm not doing it all the time, but I might be like, if he was normally do a particular thing, then I might just change it a little just to see how he reacts. Not in a, like, I'm getting a kick out of it, but I just like, if I wasn't here, someone is not going to do the routine as we do, as you just said earlier.
Yeah.
So I need him to go, if Nanny and Granddad are here today, or if real or adopted aunties and uncles are here today, or someone else at school or whatever does it slightly differently, I want you to be able to just roll with it and be able to regulate and get through the experience. So that is my sort of, and I think that's a good thing. Like I, from my personal point of view, I think changing and trying to adapt and trying to give as much variation to a routine is a good thing because it will help him potentially the spontaneity in life. It will kind of just reduce potential stress and deregulation. The only thing that we are relatively rigid in a routine with is his eating habit. So his eating times. But that is because he is a big foodie. Fooding helps him deregulate and it helps keep him calm. And obviously,
You've
people that people get hangry in general, right? Just,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
neurotypical people just get a
Yeah,
bit
yeah,
more
yeah, yeah.
stressed out, a bit more emotional when they're hungry and obviously tired. So he lunchtime and dinner time in the week, like he will eat when he comes in from school. Like he gets dropped off from his transport anytime between 20 past 3, like 25 past 3 and 4 o'clock. It just depends on the traffic. I will start cooking his dinner at like 10 past 3. And usually by 3:30, whatever I'm cooking, I have it ready. So at 3:30, it's cool enough for him to just walk in and eat. And most days he walks straight in. I have the telly on for him in the kitchen. He walks in, he sits down, he sits there and eats, and that's it. But that's how he decompresses from being at
Yeah.
school. And we don't really have any challenging behavior or dysregulation most of the time when we do that because he loves eating. He has a bit of a routine or process how he eats. So he'll come in and eat, but then he'll have a little bit of his food, depending on how hungry he is. So if I give him like 3 bits, so if he's got like sweet corn, fish, and chips, he might eat all the sweet corn, then he'll go to the fridge. He'll get a yogurt.
Yeah, yeah,
He'll
yeah.
sit down, and this has taken months and months of working out. So he'll then eat that yogurt, then he'll eat the fish, then he'll ask for sometimes a second yogurt or maybe a biscuit. He'll eat the biscuit, then he'll eat the chips. So he does eat everything, but he basically he treats the dinner like a 5-course
Yeah,
meal
yeah, yeah.
where he has intermittent desserts in his thing. And that I keep in the routine. But usually once that happens, and then he might have a lolly because he does like lollies because again that dysregulates him, especially in the heat. And then after he's done that, he won't eat again for the rest of the night. And he's done, he's happy, and he might not go to bed for another 4 to 5 hours, but he won't really eat again. He might nick a crisp off of us if we're eating crisps or a chip if we're having because we eat dinner different time. But other than that, that's kind of him done. So that is the only thing that I try to impress on people. Be if you're watching him today, please give him lunch between if he's up early, breakfast is between 7 and 8. And then 3 or 4 hours later, he'll be having lunch because then 3 or 4 hours later, he's having dinner. So as long as he's eating between, I say 4 o'clock and 4:30, you're probably going to get an okay reaction out of him. And that is our only sort of strict routine.
I
But
think
everything else, I try to be really flexible and fluid.
I think for me, like the handing over Oscar particularly um to when they were younger, I think we held on to kind of like infantilized thing quite a bit. Like, if it's like if you're watching the baby, oh yeah, so they'll have a bottle between this, wipes are here, nappies are here, this. And I think I certainly have found that we've kind of hung on to not so much now, but like certainly like, oh, they're autistic, so you kind of need to know this. But actually, what I think we started feeling was, well, you know what? That's that's for us and for us to try and make the person who's looking after them their life easier.
Mm.
What we actually need is to try to get Oscar to be able to advocate for themselves, right? So even like before Oscar had lots of language, Oscar would know that no and and yes or strawberry. Um and but that's hard to do because you're potentially putting the person who's looking after your kid in
Position.
a position where
Mm.
they're going to experience um a, deregulated behavior moment, and they are tough. Like 4 or 5 years old, they were, and 6, they were tough, really tough, and you don't really want to. So you kind of is the routine to save yourself the feeling of like, you've been looking after, so I can do this. And that could be anything from like work, night
Mm-hmm.
out, you have to
Mm-hmm.
run and do something else. And you feel bad because that person has had that difficult experience that you're having, whether it's like extended family or friends. But actually it's kind of, well, don't I want to raise the understanding of this, and how people understand it is to go
Is by
through it.
witness it. Yeah, 100%. I was about to
And
say that.
we had quite quite a couple of conversations with like Oscar's grandparents when they went as much to say, "Oh, well, it was quite scary because XYZ happened." And I said, "Well, how did you get through it?" And they went, "Well, this. I can't remember the exact routines, but I do remember." I was going, "Okay, you just needed to keep them safe, you know? And whatever that looks like, your grandparents, you need to know that." So,
Mm-hmm.
um, so yeah, it is, but it is tough because I also think it can make parents feel like, okay, I know them. Uh, I am the, what's the word I'm looking for? I am the expert in my kid's very specific routine and needs. And you need
Mm-hmm.
to know this too. And I think that can cause quite a lot of conflict between perhaps like caregivers in the nursery setting or teachers, um, because it feels like if they're not advocating exactly to your shopping list, but then I don't know what that autistic or ADHD perhaps adult is like because they haven't had that challenge.
Mm-hmm.
It's a real horrible thing because you're just trying to advocate as best you can for your child. But yeah,
Yeah. I think it's such a big, like we're saying, we're focusing on it, and we could literally probably talk about this for like 5 hours and still not, we do several laps of the same route and still be arguing either or. But
yeah,
I do
I
think
don't.
it's a really important point because, like you're saying, who are they for? So my job, I come into fatherhood with like one goal, will be like every day that I look after my child, because I didn't know what we were having. It was a surprise for us. I said, every day I look after
Double
my child and they're
surprise,
still alive.
double surprise with the diagnosis too, right?
Yeah.
What a wonderful
So,
surprise! It's amazing.
yeah. So I was like, as long as I keep them alive, I'm doing my job. Um, and the easiest way to keep them that way is to keep them obviously happy and safe and whatever. So when it comes to the routine and people experiencing it, yeah, you're 100% right. The easiest way for people, because I think I might have said it last week, that people read about what particular traits are for particular conditions.
Mm.
And they're like, yeah, yeah, I get it, I understand. But no one actually
Don't
fully
don't
comprehends it.
feel it. You don't
Yeah, they
feel it
can't
unless you do it.
fully comprehend it until they see it. And obviously that means that unfortunately for some, if we had to kind of prove it, the only way you can do that is your child has to get really upset, deregulated, and have a meltdown. And nobody likes seeing that. I say we do all we can. Like we're quite lucky, touch wood, I think Frankie's had very minimal meltdowns. He's been close to quite a few,
Mm.
but he's quite good at regulating. We know what he needs, but we are around him a lot. To my knowledge, he hasn't had meltdowns at school. They've never really said he's had meltdowns at school. We're quite fortunate. He's quite a chilled out kid, relatively speaking. He's stubborn, headstrong. So as long as you're not massively trying to change what he wants to do, you're going to do okay. But the thing around the food would be, if I'm leaving him with you for 6 hours or more, you know, if you feed him in the times I've given you, you're going to stand a really good chance that nothing really should technically go massively wrong. It'll only be
Well,
that if he's hungry, because he can't communicate, he's nonverbal, he wasn't making the noises and verbalizations like, a few years ago, like he does now. He will just sit there absolutely okay, and then it'll be, no, I'm not. And he's still like that to a point now, but obviously we now have more data. We see him, we can see how he reacts. We can go, baby's bubbling. We need to
yeah.
do something
I
about this.
I hate to cut you, Dan, but he's non-verbal at the moment
At the moment, yeah.
because we had a big win the other week.
Yes,
So
he did. Yeah.
and is still communicating very well in a range of ways.
Yes. I definitely I've been really listening to his babbling and him I say he sings like a thrush. He just said "Ba, ba, 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 ba," and I'm starting to hear like really close to words being babbled in the middle.
Did
So
we? Did we? Is he under SALT, speech and language therapy?
yes, he does have speech and
Mm. Are
language
you?
a couple of times a week
Are you
in his
going?
EHCP at
Are you
school.
going too?
No, I've been to a couple of
Okay.
like parents run like workshop
So
events,
do you,
um, but I haven't done anything recently.
maybe this is an off record chat, but do you break down your language a lot?
So my general technique when trying to speak to him, I am a fast, passionate speaker naturally, but I minimize words. I try
Yeah,
to
yeah.
say them slowly. I do try and put emphasis. So if I am angry with him, I'll be like, Frank,
Okay,
but I
nice.
won't necessarily like
Okay.
scream at him. But so I'll be like, shoes on,
Yeah, yeah,
daddy
yeah.
open, sort of take that pause. You said something a few weeks ago to me. It was like, count to 10. Like, just treat everyone
Oh
like
my
count
god.
to 10 and let them reply. And I'm like, I've been really doing that. And then sometimes when we've been having challenges around him not wanting to get in the bath for me and Amy here, I'm just
I
like, just say it once, babe, and let's just leave it
yeah, I
because he
did
has got global development delay,
that.
so he is
Yeah,
delayed.
right. So the count to 10 thing, I find that's also a thing, right, that you do when you want to calm down. You don't want to rage, right? So I decided, well, if I'm doing that, because it's sometimes quite a stressful scenario, yeah, shoes on, and
Mhm.
you're getting more raging because you're counting to 10. So I repeated the phrase in my head. That was one of the things I wanted to do before. So I'd go, shoes on, shoes on, shoes on, shoes on, shoes on, and try and like hear it in your, and
How they might be hearing it in their
yeah,
head. Yeah.
yeah, just the processing time. Um, it's tough though, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think,
especially because they might just hear shoes and they'll be like, yeah, shoes,
I
shoes.
also think that we should probably scribble down on the list, um, co-parenting at bath time, or not at bath time, co-parenting
Yeah.
in transition,
Yes, in transition.
because um,
Yeah, I'd love to talk about that.
we've all been in that. So I think you and I have both been in that scenario where either you're coming in to help or you're starting and the other person's coming in to help, and you try to go, "Oh, no, I'm just giving my 10 seconds, actually," or "We're doing when then," and the other person's energy is different. It's like, "Yeah, but we gotta go, so I'll just put them on." And, like, I'd like to, yeah, discuss about what that's like.
Yeah,
Well,
100%,
that's
because it does change. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
well, that's our chat about routines. Who are they for? How are your routines? If you're listening, what do you think, depending on what your scenario is? How have you managed to remove things from routines to keep your young person on a positive thing, or have you stuck rigidly to them and found some success? We're all about sharing ideas on this podcast, so please get in touch with what you guys do. Got a question or want to share a story? Drop us a message on Instagram or email us at NeuroDADverse@gmail.com. Look after yourselves. Right, pal. So we did not stick rigidly to a routine because I forgot to ask you about your challenge. But that's okay. We're learning. The world's not going to be made for you. But now, would you like an opportunity to dip in and tell me about your challenge of the week?
Yeah, so it is actually, again, there's a bit of a pattern forming here, a bit of a routine of me. The win can also be partly the challenge and vice versa, as is the nature of life sometimes. So, yeah, so recap, my win was, Frankie being really progressing in school in the sense that he was starting to do activities spontaneously on his own without adult supervision, which is really
Mhm.
good. And my challenge this week, and particularly our challenge as a couple, was our impression was from earlier discussions a couple of weeks ago was that Frankie would be moving upper class or moving to the next class. I don't necessarily believe in that, but the school system works in that annual tier thing. When it comes to provisions, it doesn't necessarily work like that. But yeah, our impression was he was sort of potentially moving to the classroom next door. But on reflection, we then found out that he's actually going to stay where he is. So he's going to be in the same room for a third year. And that was a little challenging to hear because we just had, they said he's doing really well. His teacher said, like he said, his first word in school, they kept praising how good he's doing with his communicating. He's being a bit more open, like how he communicates with the staff. And obviously now doing activities, he's obviously learning that, he doesn't need to be told to draw this picture. He's gone and done it himself. And then they just said, we still think he needs the support of this first room. Was a little bit kind of like, again, he's doing really well, but not well enough to necessarily progress to the next thing. So that was kind of from a parent challenge. It was just kind of a like I'm still really proud of him. I think he's doing really well. But it was just kind of hard to hear.
You've just, I've had a real visceral reaction to that. I've got like goosebumps because you've like transported me back a decade, or just a little bit less than a decade, maybe, because that we had the exact same experience pretty much every July in primary with Oscar doing great, loads of progress. It's gonna stay with us. Now Oscar's in secondary, but their primary was attached to their language and communication school SEND provision, because Frankie's in a
Provision
like a provision
in a mainstream school.
in a mainstream school.
Yeah, he interacts with the mainstream school.
So slightly different scenarios. Excuse me for Oscar. So they don't call it reception 1, 2, 3. They give them names of animals. There's like tigers, bobcats. So what they thought would be good for Oscar was that Oscar would be able to go through the same classwork again, but almost like as an older brother, because academically, in terms of number and reading and writing and all those markers, which that would benefit Oscar. And that happened for all of their primary. And the first time it happened, and every time it happened, it got a little bit easier. But it was like the first time I remember us going, this is great. End of year report. This is great. Yeah. So they're not going to go up with their friends. They're going to stay. They happened to be the only one, maybe one or two. It hit us like an absolute brick. We were like, but we had all this, like, it's the best we could have hoped for. This is an incredible place after, like, I don't know, fighting to get Oscar in there and stuff. But very slowly, we just kind of kept telling ourselves, what are our hopes as parents? Are we, like you said earlier, I hope we can keep them safe. And I hope we can, like, I just want them to love them as much as possible. And they develop as much as they're capable for. So we'll put the professionals in charge of that. But it definitely felt like, it was a real hard one. So I appreciate you sharing that it was challenging for you. I'm staying a stand up for the profession. They know.
Yeah,
I'm
not.
And I know you don't have any kind of ill will at the school, but
Absolutely not.
I feel like you guys would know if they thought that they would do that for behavioral reasons. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you'd have had that difficult conversation.
I think it is for academic
already.
too.
So, but also social.
Yeah, I
So
think I think what's interesting on so basically in terms of just how the rooms work, it's they almost get, it's like almost 2 to 1, I think, in the first room. If he moves to the next room, it might be
Okay.
5 to 1. So I think they just said he does well with
Yeah.
the amount of help slash attention he can get. Not attention that he seeks it per se, but like I think they obviously know he'll thrive in it. They did say something like sometimes halfway through the year, if everyone's happy, they can do transitions up and whatever
Yeah.
else. So we'll just see how it goes. But yeah, I'm under no illusion that, from my recollection of my school experience, is he hitting the markers and goals that are set? Yeah, he's obviously not. But doesn't mean he can't. But yeah, and the other thing we asked about was in his his report, whatever, like how's he doing with friends or whatever, and he's not really forming friendships with his classmates. Like he knows them, but
Yeah.
again, when you've got young kids with the same sort of challenges, I think much all of them play solo, so it's kind of hard. It's not like they're all playing tag and football
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Oh,
whatever with each other.
I think it was maybe year 4 before Oscar was doing turn-taking activities in classes, so and that's not to say that you
Mm.
must be doing this by this time, but, like,
No,
yeah,
everyone's different. Yeah.
and it'll give Frankie an opportunity to be that kind of big brother type, you know,
Mhm.
and that will maybe force some of those interactions. I know where that goes. Take
Yeah.
over to here, you know, um, so yeah, that's challenging, but I said, stick up for the profession and all the soft skills that the kids learn, not just neurodiverse kids, all the soft skills that they learn are more important than the grades that they get. We know this,
Mm, mm, mm.
the grades open the door, and it's your resilience, your teamwork, your kindness, your respect levels, your ability to problem solve, your creativity, all those things are the things that kind of walk you through the door.
Mm, mm, mm,
We're
mm.
just, not going to turn into a podcast slamming the organized education system, but
Oh, yeah. No.
like those things come along. Whereas think in a provision or a specialist provision or a SEND school, there may be more like integral, or they're maybe more focused upon.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
so
no,
that's
it's
good.
still great. I've got no heart. I suppose it's going back to and I have been, like I say, we've had conversations over the past month, and I just like, what, who's it for? Frankie's in the best place for him.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter to him. He doesn't care. If anything, I've always worried about the transition between when he does move this room, because he's now been in this room for 3 years.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
When that time does come, he might not like it. Like, it will
Yeah, yeah.
totally change his full experience, and maybe it's not a bad thing to keep him there. Obviously, it's not a bad thing for that, but I suppose it was like, it was us. We had that feeling of, "Oh, bummer, he doesn't care. He doesn't," well, not that he doesn't care, but you know what I mean? He'll just go in and go, "Oh, it's school time
Yeah,
again then. This is
but
what I do." So,
also, that 3 years ago, when Frankie first went into that thing, if you'd have both sat down and written a list of like, "Okay, cool, what are our expectations and what are our hopes?"
mhm.
I reckon he smashed them.
Yeah, I
It's
think
it's just
yeah.
it's just because those little bits of progress, like saying a word, like actively going and playing independently and drawing for you guys, or just drawing, um, all those little things you kind of forget about, because then it comes to the end of the year. Yeah, but they're not going to move up class.
No,
If you took
exactly.
yourselves back, you were like,
Mm,
"Oh,
mm.
we're absolutely smashing it."
Yeah,
So, like,
yeah.
I'm the same. When Oscar went to thing, we were like, "Okay, cool. We've got no words at all." Um, sorry, Oscar went and got no words at all. It wasn't what was still in nappies,
Yep, yep.
um, and was really, really, really throwy with like cars, like objects and stuff. And we were like, okay, cool. Well, let's just see how if Oscar can like be in school for an entire day. And when he was toilet trained within 3 months, we were like, this school's a miracle. What are they doing? But very quickly, then at the end of that first year, we're like, well, what do you mean they're not moving up? And then we had to kind of pause ourselves and go,
Mm. We've come
do you
so
remember?
far. Yeah.
Do you remember what we were expecting?
Yeah. No,
Um,
I
so
did say,
it's a big
I did say.
journey, but yeah.
Mm. Yeah, but yeah, so that was it really. It was just more of an emotional response
Yeah.
to how, but that it's not about me, it's about him. So, but yeah, it was just a challenge to him.
Yeah,
But
I
it's
mean, it's you're on the journey too, and it hits us all as parents in the in the heart, really. Um, all right. Do you want to do my favorite bit of the podcast?
yes, go on then.
It's a look ahead to the week ahead. I never
Love
want
that.
to change it. I never want to change it. It's the bit where I look at my phone because I don't really know what I'm doing. Anything popping up for you this
I've
week? Do you know what you're doing?
I've got sports day tomorrow. Sports day, I meant to say. I don't know why I said it like
Spurts
sports
day.
day. So
Oh,
Frankie's second ever sports day to see
what's
how
hap-
it compares to
what's
next year.
what's happening?
So last year was I think we go in at like 1 o'clock, and the school field's got like a circuit, 8 different activities to do. It might be like penalties into a goal, like kicking balls into a goal, moving water from one bucket, like cups out of a bucket to fill up another. It's not your classic egg and spoon race and the sack race and
I
your 100
love
meter sprint.
I
Um,
love I love what I asked. Oh, what's going on? And you've described a sports day to me.
yeah,
I know what a sports day is, Dan.
yeah, no,
I
but in
know.
terms of like
It's like,
Frankie's one, it's not your traditional one.
okay, fair.
But yeah, so I'm assuming it's
Hey,
going to be the same again. Last year
nice.
he probably participated in 2 of the 6. His big challenge is also his greatest love is the school field is adjacent to the train track.
Amazing.
So every 10 minutes there's a train going past. He's like,
Cool.
so, but yeah, so that'll
Nice.
be what we're doing. So that'll be interesting.
Old Muddle at train watching.
Yep,
Yes, please.
he loves it. Yeah, he does love it. So,
Nice.
um,
Oscar's primary experience, um, did they used to have this thing called the primary fair. They still do it. Um, and there was some sporty activities like you say, throw a beanbag in a bucket or whatever. But each of the kids would have designed a stall to
oh,
try and
wicked.
sell stuff, and you would get to go and uh, they would greet you and take you round or show you the things that they have done, like to pay money and buy the things like the arts and crafts. They did it in winter as well. Like the kids made their own wrapping paper for Christmas and stuff.
That's amazing.
Um,
That's a well good
yeah,
idea.
sports day last year, year 7. I don't think I got to go, but
It must be hard
was
when you're working in the profession that you're naturally
uh,
going to miss your.
ah, yeah. Do you want to write it down on the topic list? FOMO. Um,
Why not? I'll do it then.
yeah. I mean, also there's a kind of logistical thing. It's been real tough for annual reviews and stuff because
Well, I would assume will you not be allowed time off for that though?
yeah, differs from workplace to workplace. My current workplace is excellent in terms of staff welfare, but yeah,
Okay.
all those primary ones, I was not in a scenario where I could do
Oh,
that.
that's a shame.
So, well,
Well, because technically it's like it's an appointment, isn't it?
yeah,
Anyway, we
yeah,
won't get
yeah.
into the
No,
weeds
fine.
on it.
We would digress. I think it's a bit more that I didn't feel I could ask.
Right, fine.
No, but yeah. Um. So yeah, they have lots of like inflatable stuff. So like bungee run and stuff. So
Oh, wicked.
I think it's a little less competitive unless there are those students who are I don't think they force is the wrong word, but they don't like whip everyone to go, you're all going to do the race.
It's not a mandatory. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit
Yeah.
more
Okay.
aggressive.
All right. So it's
Um,
it's a little bit more
so
sort of
yeah,
of a
but
high end
actually
structure. But
I don't have any details. Mabel's will be this week. I think Oscar does theirs as well at the same time.
is
Different.
this your
They're
final full week of the year?
yeah, so I finish on Friday.
Oh,
Oscar finished on
result.
Friday.
Oh,
Mabel has until the next
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
I get to do pickup. Yeah.
Nice. That's good. But other than that, I can't
Well,
think of anything else.
I say that
Mm.
I'm dancing about doing the pickup. It's very different. It's now please can you wait in the car? I'm picking you up. I never get to pick you up. Yeah, but can you wait in the car? Nope. I go stand outside the gate and smile and watch you come out of school. Anyway,
Changing their routine, eh?
yeah. Well, maybe I should go in the car. I've changed Mabel's routine. What is So yeah, last day of school for me. Last day of school for Oscar. Um, that's the big. That's the big thing.
Ha,
And
ha,
lots. Go on.
no, go on. Finish your thing first.
I was just going to say lots of change of routine in terms of the school day for both of them, and I think that comes with it some problems, not necessarily for them, although
Mm.
they won't like if it's not explained to them.
As in, like, collapsed timetable, relaxed
Yeah, yeah,
timetable.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because it's the last week of school. You're watching
And
videos and stuff now and
yeah,
activities. Yeah.
yeah. Little aside, a place I used to work would say to us in the last week of school, just don't forget it's the last week of school. So please try to keep the engagement high. Obviously, do some quizzes or some games. That's fine. Don't just put videos on. And as a joke, being a film teacher and a media teacher, I would go, "Oh, that's ruined all of my planning this week." And clearly, a lovely little joke. And me and my like the guy who's in my department used to find it really funny. And just lots of teachers on a Monday morning did not find that funny at
That's
all.
hilarious.
Yeah, it's really funny. It's something that I like, and we stayed to it like strictly because they would always say it's the last week, like term one leading into like October. It's the last week. Please keep the standards high. But every time we'd be like, it would be a bit we'd return to. But yeah, some people don't find things funny. It's okay. What was I saying? So yeah, I think my week will have a lot of. Oh, I was like, oh, how was I don't know, how was the sports day thing? They might go, oh, it was awful. They didn't tell us what was happening. No one seemed to know what was going on. Do you know what I mean? But and that made so and so go and run around and do this, and no one told them about it. But then they told me to take out my earrings. Oh, like.
Yeah, well,
So
I think that's kind of every sports day that I recall, and this isn't a criticism of the teacher profession. We've already said in an earlier segment, but I suppose it's planned by someone, but I don't think everyone else knows. Like, it's in staff wise. Like, I don't think it's the easiest thing to
yeah,
choreograph. Basically, is it? You'll be like, oh, I
no,
think you go there, and then you'll be like, no, you're in the wrong place, and
yeah, yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
really doesn't help anyone. Like, but for
No,
neurodiverse people,
yeah,
that can be an extra challenge because it's the chaos of it is organized chaos, literally. I think a sports day, because it is organized. You're there for sports. You're doing stuff, but yeah, the how it happens and how it
yeah.
unfolds is
Yeah, and that's fine. And again, the world's not made for them. You have to realize that sometimes someone will say, "Oh, I think we're doing it this. I think we're doing it in half an hour," and then it won't be in half an hour. It'll be in 10 minutes, and you'll
mm,
be stressed and annoyed. So, like, it's part of that routine. Like, you
mm,
have to
mm.
realize that things are happening. So, um, yeah, there is that to do next week,
So
and
so how are you feeling about it then? Because what I was gonna say was, do you feel prepped for the summer holidays? And I suppose I'm saying that as in we are different parts of our parenting journey. As you say, you're like 10 years further ahead
yeah,
than I in terms of ages of children. Um, I feel more confident each summer. He's only just turned 6, but each summer I've felt a little bit more sort of confident in my abilities. But 6 weeks is a long time to try and forge, and reinforce potential new routines or non-routines. So
yeah,
how do you
okay.
find it with teenage children?
Well, the first big thing to say is I have been off for 6 weeks every summer that we have had kids
Mm,
because I teach.
mm.
So
But do you think that's a good thing? Like, being a parent, do you think that
I like the 6 weeks off.
mm, mm,
Uh, but but Laura has been working, so it has been difficult for us that we had done some like British staycations up to like Norfolk a couple of times, down to Cornwall a couple of times. And interestingly, I was going through some more old photos and looking back at the photos. And if you do ask me, oh, how was that when you went to Norfolk when the kids were like 4 and 5 or whatever they were? I think Laura and I would have gone, oh, we got no sleep, so stressful. They threw up in the back of the car. These are the things I remember. It's really lovely because the photos don't tell that story. Do you know what I mean? Just like
Yeah.
the kids smiling. So, I was talking about this there with a friend, so that's why it jogged my memory.
Well, I call them. I
So,
call
so,
it time away. I don't call it a holiday because
yeah,
it's not what you would do. Personally, obviously you're going to keep your children happy and making them experience something new. But yeah, the downside of that is the things you have to do, the no sleep, you're probably
yeah,
not eating
yeah,
as great, you're not looking after yourself as great. It's time away, but it's not necessarily
yeah, yeah,
relaxing. So that's why I don't call it a holiday per se. But
yeah,
that's just how I departmentalize and try and categorize things
yeah,
to
of course.
be okay with it. But yeah, yeah. So
It's
we've
got,
done caravan holidays. He loves a
yeah, yeah,
caravan.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I guess what that means is that I am able to go, oh, cool. What should we do today? And I can suggest that. When they were kids, it was kind of great because when it was, we worked out that Oscar's sensory comfortable place was cinema, dark and wet.
Nice.
And I was like, I love this because I could go and take them both. I could push them both in a buggy. They weren't really outdoorsy. As Oscar's needs got more pronounced, it would mean that we'd have to find things at home to do. So, yeah, I probably am looking back with a little bit rose tinted glasses. It was a lot of kind of getting to the middle of August and going, I've done nothing this summer with them. It's been really stressful. Now though, it's kind of look try and organize one off and have a list of things. So like, shall we go to Go Ape? Yeah. Let's have a look up how that fits. How does that work with Laura's timetable? Um, and what we started doing May half term this year was saying with our teens, tomorrow is an out day. We're going to go out. Oh, okay. What are we doing? And giving them the thing we're going to do. We are going to go and see your granddad and eat pizza.
Nice.
Okay. And they tend to just go with us. And then we go, cool, we're leaving at this time. And then and they kind of, they go along with us.
Yeah, you're
You know?
setting very precise boundaries.
Ra-
Like not boundaries,
rather than,
but yeah.
like processes, right?
Mm.
Like we don't go, oh, do you fancy doing something today? Because
Yeah,
that
'cause
answer is always that, oh, whatever.
yeah, it's an open. You're giving them closed questions. You're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
we're doing X.
So,
Be ready by Y. It's not like
yeah,
a conversation. Yeah.
and so it's quite nice now that Laura and I are in a bit of a rhythm where at some point this week we'll sit of an evening and go, okay, cool. So we've seen that thing. We're like, oh, there's like a lake where the kids go and climb over the inflatables. We went to one in Devon where I went to visit my cousin 2 years ago, and you've got a life jacket on. Oscar went over. I'm pulling myself up onto this thing. Oscar's already stood up, and I saw Oscar kind of like take 2 steps like that, and I thought, what are they doing? And I don't know what happened in their brain, but they engaged a like side-scrolling platformer because they were halfway around this thing, boo, 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 like Mario or Rayman. And I was like, what? Bum, 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 splash straight into the water. And I was like, what is happening? And so tired after that. But it's like my memory of it was they went, I was like, how is it they done this?
Amazing.
So there's one relatively near us, so we'll go do that. There are some open air pools around, so there's that. Gonna have to look at some like there's some like live music stuff playing that I think Mabel might like to go to, just balancing it out. So it's kind of like,
Mm.
what can we do? Is there a trip to London here? Like, is there that? Because we, trying to just save a bit of money and not do a big summer holiday.
Yeah.
Because, why go away when you get weather like this?
No, and obviously the location you're at as well. It's
Hey,
it's
beach time,
it's good.
local beach time is fun too. So yeah,
No, I like the approach of one in, one out. That's kind of what we try and do as well.
oh yeah,
Just from a regulation point of view as well, it's handy to go out, but also then to stay in. And it
yeah,
does help save money, as you say. It does help save money. So
yeah, and we'll probably end up doing Champion of Champions, which is our thing, where we all pick a game, and then each of us have to play that game, and there's a scoring system. We
I
do
love that.
we do it every Christmas, in between Christmas and New Year at some point. It ends up being hilarious because um,
You all
Oscar
choose a
will
game
pick
that only you're good at.
well, yeah, exactly. But also, Oscar will pick an obscure computer game that none of us have really played before. And we've done it 4 times, including summer and winter championships, maybe 5. Oscar's the current holder of the cup. And I think that's because Oscar beat Mabel at something that she'd chosen.
Oh, it's like
She
in
was
tennis, you break in
she
serve,
was
isn't it?
not she was not happy. But in a nice way. So yeah, Champion of Champions will have to come back at some point.
I absolutely love that. Have you actually got a cup? Like I've actually
Yeah,
got
do you
like
know
a
what?
trophy cup.
There's a
That-
weird thing that we thought we should probably get a trophy for it. And then I was cleaning out a cupboard and I got, did you or folks or ever, for whatever reason, give you a tankard? Like a silver stein with your name engraved on it.
No, I haven't. No,
Okay. So
sorry.
I'm talking about, they're
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah. Drinking.
back in the day, you'd take it to a pub and go, fill this up for me.
Yeah, you took your
Uh,
own glass with you as
yeah,
opposed
yeah,
to
yeah.
yeah.
I have one with I think, and I was like, I don't know if I still want this. I don't know. And then I saw another one at the back of the thing, and I said, oh, what's this? It is the most weird thing. It's got a glass bottom, so you can see through it, right? And it says Kodak on it. It's like it's like weird Kodak merch that I have no idea where I got it from. That is now the in our household the Champion of Champions cup.
Oh, I love that. That's so cool.
Yeah,
I love competition that has
stupid.
tables and yeah.
Make your own. So make your own traditions in this household is important to us. So maybe not
Champions of
sure.
Champs is good. We do something
Yeah,
sort of silly. We do like silly uh, practical games, which I tried to break down into like household versus household, adult versus
yeah,
adult, battle of the sexes, battle of the kids. It gets a bit
nice.
confusing, but I love all that sort of stuff. So no, I love that. Amazing, mate.
Yeah, cool. Do you want to quickly do some bath time scores?
Yep.
I had a very middling week. There was lots of back and forth, lots of argument. I could do this on myself. I said, well, you can, but you don't sometimes. And so we had a very quick, like very sharp. Um, they asked for mum. I said, well, mum's busy, sorry. And we kind of smashed through it. I didn't really like it. I didn't get angry. They didn't get too upset. I left them to do their hair, drying it. It was all right. It's a 5.
Oh, okay. So we did manage a quick bath before pod recording today. So that was a win. But yeah, still struggling actually with very hit and miss whether wants to get in voluntarily / needing to be helped a bit more. Once he's in, he likes it. But yeah, just a kid who loves water, especially. So yeah, he resisted a little bit. We've had to get help from iPad. He stands there, lets us, do what we got to do sometimes, and he sits down sometimes. But yeah, we watched an iPad. It was over in like 3 or 4 minutes, and so I'll probably go with a 6. It weren't the best, but at least he did it.
I'm,
Uh,
I'm always conscious on this podcast not to immediately barrel in and go, do you want some advice? But I don't know if I did give this advice before. I told you about turning the taps on the
Options.
foot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you tried wash the trains?
No. What is
So-
this?
Well,
It sounds quite.
it
No,
does
explain
what it
to me.
says
I
on the tin.
explained to you what sports day
just-
was.
You sometimes can wash trains. So I'm imagining that Frankie's got some trains,
Yes.
right? You take 2 of them, you make them messy in a way that's not uncomfortable. So like jelly would be good because it would just dissolve.
Mm-hmm.
And you go, no, time to wash the trains. And then you put them on a spot in the bath covered in jelly, and that would mean Frankie need to get in. Now, depends on what you want your win to be. You can be like, I'm going to put them there. You wash trains and just watch. And what did I do? I mean, I did the same. I did a scenario where I just left and saw Oscar's like, you wash trains, and I put them out in the shower, and Oscar went in fully clothed, turned the shower on eventually, and I had loads of wet clothes. Then they wanted to get out the clothes, take it off, and then I squeezed soap in hands, wash train. Now, or you can give it some more scenario, like you have to wash trains. Depends how much communication you want. Top off, then wash train, but whatever.
Amazing.
I have also done it mistakenly using like soil, and they were like stupid because you're in a bath or a shower. So work it out. Or you could, whatever.
No, I'll try that actually. That would work. I think that could work really well. Amazing. Thank you, mate.
That's right. Anyway, I've had to make up a lot of stuff on the spot to try and get stuff going, and a lot of it you throw out the wall and doesn't work. But yeah, I do remember wash trains. Wash trains worked. Nice. Okay,
It's a great place to wrap
5
up.
out of 5 out of, what was your score?
6. Yeah, 6.
Okay,
6 he got him.
Yeah, fair enough. Right, lovely stuff. Well, if you have some ways of getting your child into the bath, or you just fancied getting in touch and having a chat to us, please do. All the links are down in wherever you're going to put them, Dan. We are Dan and Ben talking about our wins, challenges, and what it's like to be neurodiverse parents.
Win the week.
Yes. See you later.
Until next time, see ya.
That's about it for the NeuroDADverse. We'll be back next week.
If you laughed, cried, or nodded in tired agreement, don't forget to follow us and leave a review. It helps more parents find us.
Just remember, you're doing great.
You are enough, and you are definitely not alone.
Got a question or want to share a story? Drop us a message on Instagram or email us at neurodadverse@gmail.com. Look after yourselves.